that Jamaica is in keeping with the requisite standards. Recommendations has also been made for the recruitment and screening of staff in all child care institutions, meaning that you have people now who would be better suited to contribute to the development of children, where hitherto it was on a random basis. Things are being done in a more systematic matter at this juncture. Gone a step further as far as abuse of children is concerned, and there is now in the Sexual Offences Bill, which is now before Parliament, harsher penalties are prescribed for persons in authority as regards children. And this is a significant step forward, because hitherto persons who abuse children were subjected to penalties which one could say were equivalent to what any ordinary criminal would face. But now the standard or the bar has been lifted in that once you're a person in authority with and you encounter or you have to deal with children, then the penalties are much harsher. And this is a result of legislative initiative. There is also what is known as a serious panel review, where cases of death of children are investigated by a panel, and where a criminal responsibility or criminal negligence is found, then that panel refers the matter to the Director of Public Prosecution. There are considerable efforts on part of the Child Development Agency to change the culture and reorient children in relation to the family. As a result of this, the Child Development Agency, as part of its corporate plan for 2008-2009, has included this as a program of action to ensure that where indeed it is possible, children are reoriented into the family, or if that is not possible, then some kind of foster care. Again, this is to temper or reduce the rigors of children in an institution where a certain culture can develop and they're treated as inmates, because they see it as this contributing to a part of the family background, which is essential for the well-being and upbringing of children. There's also the issue of significant progress has been made in the issue of peer abuse, and where children who are repeated offenders have been found to be abusing their peers, then they are identified and they are taken to the relevant psychological, in fact a department has been established in the Ministry of Health, known as a Child Guidance Clinic or a psychiatric team from the Ministry of Health, which would see to the psychological well-being of such children who abuse their peers. The Child Development Agency has also established a complaints protocol whereby children in the affected institutions are encouraged to lodge complaints, and those complaints are taken seriously, and as I indicated earlier, where persons who have been found guilty or liable for such abuses, where such complaints have been made, those persons are accordingly punished. Two, in relation to the Child Development Agency, they have also established what is known as a monitoring team, where teams go out from time to time completely on an ad hoc basis and would monitor the development of children in children homes. And as a consequence of that, there has been a significant improvement in that there was no sign of neglect or abuse for the period 2008-2009, as was found by that monitoring committee. Issues such as overcrowding, part of the corporate strategy for the Child Development Agency is the establishment of a Situation Room Committee, whereby it monitors the population of children in places of safety and addresses and takes action where institutions are near capacity and overcrowding is a feature of that particular institution, or the institution is in breach of its license. And we have an annex from the Child Development Agency, a complete report, and commissioners can at their liberty go into this to see what steps have been taken. I've only served here to highlight some of those steps and demonstrate that there is this intention on part of the state to adhere to its international commitments. As I said, we won't go into the issue of the issues arising out of the Armadale incident, because we do not feel that it is appropriate until the Commissioner has made his findings of fact and his determination. And notice the approach here. Certain statements have been selected, they are presented and highlighted. As I said, we don't feel that is the correct approach, because the Commissioner is well seized of all the evidence. Commissioners here are just hearing a particular snapshot of the evidence, if I may put it that way, and we are all aware that skewed and unbalanced views can come when you are not presented with the totality of the evidence. Notwithstanding, we are here to demonstrate that in light of the Armadale incident, certain steps have been taken by the government. Some have been referred to by my friends from Jamaicans for Justice, but in particular, the Prime Minister, after the aftermath of the fire, immediately ordered the facility to be closed. There was the Armadale Commission of Inquiry, which inquired, and the terms of reference for that inquiry was to inquire into the causes and circumstances of the fire, the response of the management of the institution to the outbreak of fire, including the evacuation procedures, availability and readiness of firefighting equipment, and the behavior of the juvenile detainees occupying the institution at the time of the fire, and the response of the emergency services. Because there's one theory which has come out of, and this is why I say we are very reluctant to go into the evidence, but just to give you an idea of the balance, there is one theory that the fire was actually caused by the juveniles themselves. So that is something which the Commissioner is taking into account and will be determinative in his findings as to what was the cause of the fire. Further to the closure of the Armadale institution, the wards at Armadale were located to the Diamond Crest Villa, which has since been declared by the Minister of Justice as a juvenile correctional center. That facility in particular has been retrofitted, and a capacity of 45 wards, accommodating 3 to a room, is now fitted with its own bathroom, and wards are comfortably housed in that particular facility. Significant training of staff. We have embarked on significant training of staff as concerns persons who work with the wards, and there, in August 2009, courses have commenced where persons are now being inducted into the provisions of the Child Care and Management Protection Act, treatment of children, interview techniques, and working with troubled children. As of October 16, 2009, 40 correctional officers who work with juveniles have been trained. As I said, these underscore the fact that a new culture is emerging and a new day is dawning in the attitude of the state towards children in places of safety. And I think this augurs well for the future, and certainly the state should be encouraged to continue these well-meaning initiatives. There is also what is known as a behavior modification program, where this includes areas such as staff control, relationships, managing emotions, etc. at the Diamond Crest Villa. Did I hear an excuse, Jerome? Should I continue? Yes, thank you. Also emerging from the Armadale incident is that the Prime Minister has directed that a task force on child care institutions be established with a mandate to examine policy issues such as financing and general physical infrastructure of child care institutions, the recruitment and screening of staff, and